Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to share with you my meal prep routine. These are things that I like to do once a week to make for a week's worth of really healthy meals quickly. The first thing I like to do is survey what I have in the refrigerator. So looking at what I've got, I have a chicken and some venison and liver, a giant head of cabbage that is about to go off, a couple of packs of zucchini that I can go ahead and prep as well, carrots I can cut up, and looking over at this side, a lot of plantains that are about to go off. Look how dark those plantains are. So I'm probably gonna go ahead and cook up the ripest two of these plantains and make plantain apple cookies. The thing that's gonna take the longest to cook is the chicken, because I'm going to cook the chicken and I'm also going to make bone broth out of it afterward. So I'm gonna go ahead and start on that one first. The reason that I get a whole chicken is because in my area, it is the cheapest price per pound at $2.99 a pound if I go to Aldi or Costco. And that's for organic chicken. And I get the whole chicken because I can make a lot of bone broth with the bones afterward. Bone broth tends to be pretty expensive if you don't make it yourself, but really inexpensive if you do. And with my Instant Pot, it's really easy to make. This is so easy to do. So I have my chicken in my Instant Pot. This is about a 6.5 pound chicken. And the general rule of thumb is 6 minutes on manual high pressure for every pound. So since it's about 6.5 pounds times 6, and we're looking around 40 minutes manual high pressure to cook the bird. Now to cook and season this, I'm just going to add in a couple of cups of water and whatever herbs I have. So I actually have some dill, so I'm just gonna sprinkle a bunch of dill in here. I have some garlic, so I'm gonna go ahead and use that also. Sprinkle that on the top. You really can't go wrong with garlic either. Good sea salt. And I'm gonna do 2 drops of lemon essential oil. So then I'm just gonna put the lid on and cook it on manual high pressure for about 40 minutes. So now that the chicken is cooking, I'm gonna go ahead and get my oven to work here too. I'm going to roast up some sweet potatoes and some carrots. I almost always cook my veggies in the same exact way in my oven. I always bake at 425 for 25 minutes. Start on these, so I'm gonna spray them down with olive oil. Stick them in the oven for 25 minutes. Same thing with these. I'm gonna go ahead and spray them with olive oil and put those in the oven also. And they too will cook for about 25 minutes. So the next thing I'm gonna do while all of this is cooking is I'm gonna go ahead and get my cabbage prepped. So my cabbage is done. I'm gonna go ahead and put this in Ziploc bags. I think that's just the easiest way to store it. And then I like to add it to soup or egg roll in a bowl. I like to add that chicken that's in the Instant Pot with this. Just add it to whatever it is that I'm cooking. So I've had such horrible luck with the coleslaw mix from Whole Foods that anymore I'm just getting a whole cabbage, and it's a lot cheaper to just cut it up and prep it yourself. Chicken is done, so I'm gonna go ahead and get that out, start on the bone broth. But before I do that, I just realized as I was washing my hands that I cut my finger while I was doing the sweet potatoes. Out of my oils box, I'm gonna go ahead and grab a drop of Panaway. Panaway has wintergreen, it has clove, helichrysum, and peppermint. Helichrysum is really good for skin regeneration. The clove and the peppermint are good for numbing, and then the wintergreen is similar in idea to aspirin, that methyl salicylate that's in there, that's very comparable to the white willow bark. So I just put it right on location, and I'm just gonna let it sit for a second. And while that happens, I'm gonna get my container for the chicken. And already the sting is gone out of my cut, which is amazing. So if you wanna learn more about essential oils, I have a link in the description bar below. Be sure to check it out. So what I'm gonna do with my chicken here is I'm actually going to get all of the meat off that I possibly can and put it in my Pyrex here. And then I'm going to leave the bones in the pot, and I'm gonna go ahead and make some bone broth out of them. So with what's left in here, I'm gonna go ahead and add a couple more cups of water. I'm going to add a couple tablespoons of raw apple cider vinegar. I just kind of eyeball it. I don't really measure. That's probably right. A little bit more to grow on. And then I'm just going to stir this up, pressure cook it on high for 2 hours. Cleaning up as I go. So the next thing that I'm going to do is make plantain apple cookies, because these plantains, I like ripe plantains just as they are a little dark. So I'm going to go ahead and turn them into plantain apple cookies. I have a video on how to do that. If you are interested in that video, I'll link it below. I'll put it in the cards too. The reason that I love making these is they are so tasty, incredibly easy to make, and they freeze really well also. I know this is supposed to be meal prep, but I have to taste test them, right? It turned out good. So I've got about a half hour before my bone broth is done in the Instant Pot. So since I have that time, I'm gonna go ahead and do 2 more proteins. This is going to incorporate liver. And I know organ meats, the whole idea of them for some people can be a little nerve-wracking. I was one of those people too. I get it. We had never had organ meat until 2016. And so now we've had organ meat, I would say, of some kind 3 or 4 times a week for the last 7 years. The thing I like about it, there's 2 things. One, nutritional powerhouse. So very, very, very healthy. Second thing is that it's generally a lower price per pound. So when I get my chicken livers from my local Whole Foods, they are organic chicken livers. It's about $3.99 per pound. But if you have a local butcher or processor, that you can generally get it for a little less expensive than that. We tend to like beef liver, chicken liver. The same process though can work for heart, whatever you have access to. This method of cooking it can hide the flavor, although I don't think it tastes bad. At first, I would take 2 pounds of ground chicken, ground lamb, ground beef or venison, whatever I had, with 1 pound of the organ meats. Now I tend to go 1 pound organ meat, 1 pound ground beef. So I've got ground venison already thawed and ready to go. And then I have 1 pound of frozen ground beef. So that'll take a little bit of extra doing to get that cooked up. But I'm gonna go ahead and get those on the stove while I'm waiting for my bone broth. This is as scary as liver is. That's as scary as it comes. It's really not scary at all, I promise. And there it is. Easy as that. It literally looks just like ground beef, right? So you could use it for whatever, chili, you could use it for pasta sauce, or put in soups, whatever you use ground meat for. There you go, with a little extra nutrition thrown in. My Instant Pot is just about ready to depressurize, but I think out of all that meat that I just cooked, we've got maybe, for both my husband and myself, at least maybe 6 or 7 meals worth of meat here. So I'm going to freeze the ones that are in the mason jars, and then I'll put this in the refrigerator, and whatever we don't eat over the next day or so, I will go ahead and freeze the leftovers. But I can hear my Instant Pot is just about ready to depressurize. When the timer went off, I actually turned it off so that it would depressure a little bit faster. So as soon as this little guy pops down here, I'm gonna strain off these bones, clean up, and I'll be done. Hi friends, that's going to do it for me today. I'm gonna get everything cleaned up here now that I have multi-meals worth of food prepped for us for this upcoming week. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you haven't already and you'd like to, hit that button down below, subscribe so you never miss a new video. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.